whole time they were talking, I'm like, where does his hand? And then it cuts to a wide shot, and it's just around his daughter's hip.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of We Talking About. Today we're talking about episode 2 of the Santa Clarita Diet.
Santa Clarita Diet.
That's the name. It's a little confusing.
So
It's got words. All right, so episode 2 picks up where episode 1 left off. We're
are in fact
dumping
in
a
that
body,
desert,
and
yep. More of the stuff that we saw in that trailer.
And to confirm slightly, maybe from what I thought last time, she did eat one of his balls.
I wasn't claiming that she did not eat his genitals and various other parts, but the whole thing that you were framing up where it was mimicking like when someone walks in on a compromising sexual moment.
I need it to come out on DVD so I can watch it with commentary and see what the men themselves had to say.
I'm sure that will nothing.
I'll never see that ever.
No, and it was like a running gag. It was like his balls are really small though.
They were tiny balls.
Yes.
It's okay.
He's like, honey, what? I thought you'd like that. I thought
that'd make you feel better.
Yeah. There's a lot of banter, a lot of joking stuff. A lot of it is still not working for me. I'm smiling, but I'm not. And like we're watching it together, and neither of us are really laughing.
No,
which is probably bad. But
this episode was better than the last episode.
Yeah, it's making me feel good, but it's not making me like laugh. I don't know what that means.
Nah, but it's also only a half an hour, which is good too. Like if this show was an hour with the same pacing, I'd be like, eh. But I'm not like, eh. I'm on for the ride still. So the car that pulled up to them when they were dumping the body that made them, have to get all bloody and suspicious.
Yeah.
Was in fact his daughter and the nerd next door.
And it really had to be, right? Because there's no one else, I think, that could have been in that car. Unless you're going to introduce like a new character who it could have been okay for them to see them doing that shit or whatever. Right?
I pictured if it was going to be somebody else, it would be like, some random like goob out in the middle of the night. And they're like, we hit a deer.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Just trying to do the right thing and bury it, drag it off the road. We feel horrible. Oh, yeah, that's hard. And they come in like some kooky like character actor.
Right. It's Randy Quaid coming out of retirement to be a weirdo.
That'd be wonderful.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There had to be like something random and new because all the characters we've seen so far be like, what? And why are you in the desert? Or whatever. But yeah, it's the kids. Life's good.
That cop next door is like a ridiculously suspicious prick.
Yes.
Spraying their lawn. He sniffs the grass. He's on their property. Like, I've been like, what are you doing? Get the fuck off my property.
You think Patrick Warburton was supposed to play this character, but like he wasn't available?
That'd be wonderful.
I feel like he
would be great.
They want it to be him. This guy's like a generic poor man's Patrick Warburton.
Yeah.
But I'm just picturing Patrick Warburton doing it, and it's like working for me.
No, that would work.
No, yeah. The guy, he's like spraying whatever that was, ammonia stuff or something.
Yeah, something that kills DNA. I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't seem like the right color for bleach, but yeah. Yeah, so
it also seems like anything you could spray that kills DNA would kill the grass regardless of how you dilute it.
Diluting, yeah.
Yeah. Regardless, science, TV show, whatever.
But they play it off. I'm spraying for ants at 2:45 a.m. Yeah, and just like do the whole thing. And I was like, okay.
Now he has some great like retorts.
No, yeah, and his face and shit like that, and like just the thing. I almost wrote it down, but I totally didn't. But luckily, I remembered it because it just happened. At the end of their conversation, when like the cop is all like, an ant problem can overwhelm you. You should be careful. Like to like drop that line.
Yeah.
And then Timothy Olyphant's like, yeah, but remember my thing too, though, right? That fucking, again, I didn't laugh, but like it made me very happy and enjoyed because that shit always happens in movies where it's like, well, maybe I will. Well, maybe I will. And that's like, no, but I will though, right? You heard me say I will because I will. Like that weird thing.
Yeah.
Like I was like,
no, there's
awesome.
some great things. Honestly, the person that's falling the shortest for me so far is Drew Barrymore, which arguably she's the biggest name in this series. But like aside from her like falling a little flat in some of her delivery, I'm also like, with her.
I know. I really want. I'm rooting for her the way I did like Winona Ryder in Stranger Things or whatever. And this is the opposite scenario where I'm not relieved at like her performance being good and like solid, consistent, whether you liked it or not. This is weird where like some of the lines aren't working and some are working, but not I think in the way they should.
Because even like some of the lines are just like you're delivering them poorly, and some of them it's just like you're like this was written maybe for a Drew Barrymore like 20 years ago. When like some of these lines have been like, yep, all right then. Like she's not like as spunky as she was like.
Now I'm getting even sadder. Yeah.
It's more of like because her delivery is almost like that of a frumpy mom. When like it's kind of written for like the cool mom almost. The cool zombie mom.
I think you're totally right, and I think it's even sadder than I first thought. Because a few worked when she was like, "Why don't we just eat parts of people and then let them go?" That's worse. Like stuff like that. I was like, okay, but even like the best lines don't get above a certain threshold.
But picture all these lines then coming from Charlie's Angels, Drew Barrymore, and you'd be like, okay,
that would be fine.
Yeah.
Oh, Charlie's Angels.
Yeah. How old is Drew Barrymore now? 50?
I don't know how old she is. I gotta say she doesn't look great here.
Well, let's try to reverse engineer this. So like E.T. was what, like 78?
I have literally no idea.
And she was probably like 3 in that.
And then Firestarter was 85. When was Firestarter?
Between 82 and 85.
I have no idea.
Yeah. So what does that make her? No, that makes her younger. What? How the fuck? Does that? Oh wait, it's 2017.
We keep doing that. It's like, is that shit new? It's like, that's pretty new. It's 2010. You're like, that's like, it's 7 years old. Like, oh fuck, we're
so she's like in that late 40s, early 50s ballpark.
Yeah, she looks fine. I'm not being overly critical. Like the only worth a woman has is being sexy or whatever. But
no, it's just the the lines, because now she's this like oversexed teenager, and when the lines come from her now, I'm just like, okay. It's kind of like when like the character in a TV show is like, all right, I'm gonna put the lipstick and I'm gonna seduce that guy, and you're like, yeah, he's not seduced.
Like what? Why would that ever work?
So furthermore, the relationship between the neighbor and the daughter seems to be progressing nicely. She's ditching school. She brings him. He has a robot.
I'm getting a really good vibe from them. I'm liking it. It feels like 80s movie style or like whatever. I think possibly just because of her and her face or something. Him too. They both have.
He
this
has
look.
An 80s.
Yeah. They have and her like humor style, I'm really digging, tomboyish, whatever.
When
stuff.
She throws that comic book guy down, though, I was like, "What is happening here?" He weighs like 280 pounds.
That makes no sense.
And
maybe he has
like
a
child.
He's a high center of gravity.
His head's pretty big.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he missed leg day, so.
I'm sure he misses every day, so it's fine.
That comic book store was like the most lit, beautiful comic book store I've ever seen, though.
Right?
Where I'm like, where is this?
Where is this mythological comic book store? It's possible I've never been to a comic book store.
Ever?
Like really.
Really?
I mean, really. But you've been to quite a few,
yeah,
I assume?
They're usually like very densely packed with shit because like they have a small amount of like there's no money to be made in a comic book store.
And comic books are like relatively large things. It isn't like a whatever store.
That was airy and lovely and like.
Is there a guy there usually who keeps saying it's not a library, buy it or fucking stop touching it?
Not really.
Aren't they in plastic where you can't even read them?
Some are.
Okay, but there'll be one like in the front.
Yeah, well, like.
I've never been to a comic. I'm aware that comic books exist. I've heard of them. I've seen them.
I'd say less than half are in plastic.
Okay. That's not how you usually buy them.
No.
I bought some comic books from a video store when I was a kid, and they were like loose, like not in the thing.
Uh-huh.
And they did not give a fuck if you opened them and looked at them and all that stuff. So that was not their main thing.
So what else happens in this episode?
Well, at that comic book store, she has an emotional reaction to like the Mombi comic and all that stuff, which is interesting.
So I'm picturing she'll have that comic book in a later episode, and she may be referencing when certain things happen. It'll be like, well, in Mombi episode 6.
Yeah, in Mombi they did this and that worked. We should try that or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be dope.
But it did mirror, like, in that issue she looked at, the mom was eating a dog. Why would she do that? And then your mom's trying to eat a chicken. So, like, it's paralleling.
Exactly. We had the virologist. Hasmedi?
Peyton Oswald.
Yeah. Yeah, Patton Oswalt's fucking in there, which he always is. I feel like he's not going to reappear. Maybe he will.
I'm thinking he'll come
in.
I think he'll come in X amount of episodes later when like something happens and there's like we've heard of this blah 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 and like he'll have to get called in.
But like in this great and like this episode was a lot about like. So at the end, we're gonna kill people, honey, and all that stuff.
We should say that they realize that meat no longer does it. It's
well, that's what I'm saying.
Once you go live, you don't go back.
That's what I'm getting at. This is
Jive.
This entire episode was all building to that conclusion. So it was like, going to the morgue, not having enough money, buying the foot. The raw meat's not working. She's eating it, and it's like disgusting to her now. I even wrote down she can only eat live things, and that was totally it.
It makes sense.
All these things. And it totally makes sense. And, like, it's almost good that the show devotes this time to it early on to get it out of the way. Because you might be like, why don't they just buy rats from the pet store and eat those or something? And they're firmly established now. It has to be human. it has to be fresh /
I'd like
alive.
to know, though, if it's much like a human's taste preference. Like, yes, it makes her vomit. Like, if I were to eat, like, mungfish, I might be like, oh, but I would still get nutrition from it. So I wonder if she can live on these things.
I know.
But isn't. We may never know that.
I had that same thought. They probably won't, will not address it. Because, like, the foot, she said, tastes like chemicals. And I was like, oh, there's, like, formaldehyde and shit in there. Like, she probably can't eat that. Fuck. But then, like, yeah, the rooster might just be gross. But she can probably eat it and, to not die or whatever's going to happen to her. I wonder what's going to happen if and when she gets super hungry. We've seen some other shows recently where, like,
they zombie out.
The zombie, as they get hungrier, they turn more into the zombies from, like, TV shows and less as the you're totally not a zombie type of person. That could happen.
I'm picturing the live food is needed because, like, we saw her blood. It's just like it's like black mush, like fucking molasses. I think she needs the blood to make her blood even like blood anymore.
Turn her blood back into blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually good that it's not brain centric and we're kind of getting away from all that.
Sure.
She just sort of needs to consume flesh because yes, her body has changed into a thing that no longer needs organs of its own and has normal blood. So she probably just needs to put that stuff into her to keep going or whatever.
She does still heal presumably because her hand didn't have that cut in it.
Yeah.
Even moments later, she had no bandage on there.
Right. Weird. Right. So I don't know.
And that could just be like, well, I don't bleed, so there's just like, a nice little slit that I pushed shut. But I wonder if it actually seals. We'll see.
I hope she's healing because otherwise we end up in like a Death Becomes Her situation where like shit's just all messed up and she's painting over it and all that shit.
Which is okay too.
Yeah, that could be funny in its own way. I have no real problems either way.
We know in the trailer for this, she gets stabbed at one point, so we'll see what that does.
Oh yeah, we do know that.
We do know that.
Now I remember the trailer.
Yep.
All right.
Did anything else happen in this episode?
That's all that I have. The main point is they're going to kill people now. The daughter comes in, their family, they're going to get through this, quote-unquote, together, all that stuff. So now they're going to look for someone to kill and kill them.
A bad person, presumably, based on the trailer again.
Have we seen any bad people that need some killing?
Not yet, but I'm sure there are bad people. I imagine they might again use the neighbor kid. Can you look in your dad's like files and see if there's anyone who like got off on crime of maybe murder?
I was thinking the same thing. I wonder about the other cop though, because that other cop we only saw during the first episode, and he's not been mentioned again.
He wasn't a dick, so I think he'll be in it less in general.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll be. Because Timothy Olyphant's character even says, why do we live between two cops or something like that?
Yeah.
So I thought the whole living between two cops thing was going to be a thing where like they're both suspicious but they hate each other, so it becomes this weird, and that's how it all works out or something. But
I could see something eventually with the cop we now know as the annoying neighbor doing something, and then going to the guy, I'm kind of being harassed by Rick here. Could you ever talk to him for me?
It's like, oh, that's exactly he's too whatever the fuck. We gotta yeah, exactly.
But we will see what happens in the next episode. So until then, don't die in a fire.